capture another Eastern League title. Head coach Lorenzo Hernandez doing a great job with his team, and he's helped with his assistant coaches, Mr. Jay Wicks, Mr. Pete Vargas, and Mr. D. Wicks. We also have A. Martinez, C. Hernandez, A. Robledo, and E. Velasquez. Head coach for Legacy is Fernando Guzman. Assistant coaches are Ozzy Noriega, Ramon Hurt, Javier Montes, Javier Mesa, Fernando Vega, and Johnny Aduenda.
And welcome to another edition of CIF-L.A. Sports Scene as we come back for the high school game of the week here on the campus of the Garfield High School Bulldogs as they get ready to take on the Legacy Tigers from Southgate, California. And the records right now, Garfield 4-0, but this is their opening game in the Eastern League. On the flip side, the Legacy Tigers come into this game 1-0 in the Eastern League, having defeated Huntington Park Spartans last week 35-24. And their overall record right now under head coach Fernando Guzman is 2-3. However, throughout the records, we are now in the preseason. We are now ready to do battle for the Eastern League Conference. We'll be right back with the kickoff in just a moment. This is CIF-L.A. Sports Scene's high school game of the week, Garfield versus Legacy. And here we go now, ready for the opening kickoff. There's Fabian Munoz Rodriguez. He has it. And it's kicked it. He's kicked it off already, and we're now underway here just to start the game. It's a very important game for the Garfield Bulldogs, as we mentioned, because this is their road to the Eastern League title. Hopefully they're going to be able to take that, and then shortly after the playoffs will start, and we'll see what the playoff picture will be like for the Bulldogs. However, that's still down the road a ways. As we get set up here from the 50-yard line, it'll be the Legacy Tigers with quarterback Rivera. Dropping back, they run a spread offense. He's going to let it fly out here into the corner down at the 40-yard line. Good coverage there. Abel Martinez, number 5, along with Angel Hidalgo. Dual coverage for the Garfield Bulldogs. Clock stops on the incompleted pass. And we'll try to set the lineups here for you on offense for the Legacy Tigers. And we'll go on offense here, of course. Michael Rivera, quarterback. Number 2, Mark Medrano is running back. Christian Moreno, wide receiver. Ulysses Flores, number 11, is a wide receiver. And tight end is Hector Espinosa, number 13. Here we go. Second play of the game. Down and out in the flats, completed. And receiver there, number 7 for Legacy. He hauls it in there. That's Alberto Loera Villa. Okay, and let's see now. It's going to be third, and let's call it for week number 6 here in the high school game of the week productions from CIF-L.A. Sports Scene. And we've enjoyed bringing you high school football here for East LA and beyond, as we've covered quite a few teams that have come into Garfield and to Roosevelt. Rivera has it. Oh, he's going to be in the pocket, snuffed out of there, brought down. And that's Joe Sedano, number 40. So the first drive of the game, first possession of the game goes to the Legacy Tigers, again out of Southgate, California. Here we go, back in punt formation. And it looks like it's going to be number 20. Oh, it's blocked. And then picked up by Legacy. Oh, in punt formation was number 25 for Legacy, and he looked up and put his foot into it, but it was blocked. And Garfield now will take over. And number 25 was the punter for Legacy. But now here comes the offensive unit for the Garfield Bulldogs. First possession of the game, and they're in great position, great field position here to start things off on their home field. 4-0 overall, undefeated here at home. Oh, there's a running play. It looks like P.J. Garcia. He just went student body left. And there are no flags on the field from our advantage point up here. And looks like that score will stand. Comes at 10 minutes and 18 seconds left in the first quarter, just underway here. And a classic call there, the big student body left for the Garfield Bulldogs. And let's see where they, unofficially we had that ball spotted at, let's call it the 25-yard line. And so that'll give P.J. Garcia a 25-yard run for a touchdown. And here is Munoz in for the point after. Rodriguez, big left-footed kick is powerful enough and it's good enough. And now there we have in the first play from the scrimmage for the Bulldogs, 7 points. And we'll come back in a moment with the kickoff. This is East LA Sports Team's coverage of the high school game of the week. It's Rodriguez, ready to put his foot into it. And it's going to go down to about the 10-yard line. And there's a good run back. Found a block. And Legacy. Good run back there. Let's see who gets credit for that. And we get number 10 on that. That was Christian Moreno, one of the co-captains. He's a captain along with Gonzalo Carrillo, Alberto Loera Villa, and Michael Rivera, the quarterback. Second possession coming now for Legacy. It comes with 10 minutes and 10 seconds left in the first period of play. There's a snap, handoff, Medrano. Oh, good tackle in there. Eric Anaya, number 42 for the Bulldogs, just wrapped him up on a solo tackle. Setting the rest of the lineup here for you for the Tigers. In at guards and tackles, Jesus Poblete, number 54. Number 52, Moises Montoya. Number 65, Jacob Jimenez. Number 77, Rocky Valencia. Number 50, Jorge Castañeda. That will set the front line for Legacy. Oh, my goodness. Ball got loose there. Host of tacklers. First man in was Nick Delgadillo. P.J. Garcia was in there. And number 48 also for the Bulldogs. Just put Miguel Ortiz, just put a vicious tackle on Medrano. Just as he picked up the ball or was given the ball, he was rocked by the trio of tacklers for the Garfield Bulldogs, whose motto, of course, is see ball, get ball. Third and let's call it 13. The backing up here, Legacy Tigers. From Southgate, dropping back, Rivera. Oh, in on coverage there. Pass was intended for his tight end, but Matt Ventura was in there on defense for Garfield. The pass was intended for Hector Espinosa, and that will bring up fourth down here for the Tigers.
Good coverage by Matthew.
Second time they'll be punting here for the Tigers. Awaiting the snap. It sails up there to the punter. He gets it off at the 50. He's going to take a Legacy bounce heading towards the 40-yard line of Garfield, and they'll spot it right there. Espinosa downs it. It'll be 1st and 10 for Garfield. And again, Garfield had a bye week last week. They were not in action, so they had a chance to rest up. And let's see what Coach Hernandez does on his second possession. Garfield leads 7-0, and here we go now. And okay, we're set now. Oh, it's going to be a flag thrown on that play, but we're checking out Garfield here. Want to make sure we have the correct players in the right alignments. And wearing number 18.
We have Jonathan Batista at quarterback.
Jonathan Batista for Garfield.
At running back.
Okay. Change in Coach Hernandez's assignments here. Batista at quarterback. We've seen Bruce Gonzalez, who took the first 3 games, and then game 4 against Crenshaw was Israel Castillo. But a penalty now was thrown on that play. 5-yard encroachment. Here we go now, ready for the action. 1st and 5 for the Bulldogs. Our first look at Batista. Oh, had a shot at giving it to connecting with number 21. That was Jimmy Romero. And that's an incomplete pass. Clock will stop. 8 minutes and 31 seconds left in the first period. Garfield 7, Legacy 0, our high school game of the week, week number 6. Coming to you from Garfield High School. Try to get you some of the lineup here for Garfield. Number 1, of course, P.J. Garcia. There's the snap. Bautista is going to be run out of the pocket. Oh, grabbed from behind and dropped. Big sack there. Number 64 in on the tackle. That was Francisco Tovar. Gets credit for a solo tackle there. It's going to bring up 2nd and let's call it 6. Or 3rd and 6. And a little bit of background on the Legacy Tigers. They're coming to, this is the first year in the Eastern League. They're in a Division III school by the LA City Section records. Okay, the Bulldogs are ready. Wideouts on both sides of the field. Bautista looks right. Coming back for the pass for the reception was Angel Delgado. And they're going to credit him up to, let's call it the 50-yard line. Is that going to be enough for a first down? Okay, and they agree that it is, so the sticks will be moved forward. And it's going to be 1st and 10 for the Garfield Bulldogs. First time they're actually in on a drive of more than one play. Second possession of the game, Bautista. Spread formation, it's going to air it out deep in the corner. Overthrown at the 25-yard line. That was Romero, the intended receiver. Clock will stop. 7 minutes and 14 seconds left in the first period of play. So Bautista getting an opportunity to play here. And he could be working on all of the deep passing routes here that the Garfield Bulldogs will certainly need to have in motion by the time they get into the middle of the Eastern League and then prepare for the playoffs. Okay, penalty is going to go against the Bulldogs. That's going to move them back 5 yards to the 45-yard line. Second, and let's call it 15. Okay, the referee in the white hat, the crew chief, is explaining to Coach Hernandez what happened on that play. Okay, he's going to call in. They're going to referee this by committee. They're going to bring in the other referee on the sideline. And while they talk that over, we'll take a break here on East-L.A. Sports Scene. This is high school game of the week. Okay, there's the whistle, and here we go. Back to the action. Bautista at quarterback's got a man in motion. This is Hidalgo on a sweep left. Got blockers. Missed tackle there, still on his feet. Broke free again. Still going to 10-5. Touchdown, Garfield. And Angel Hidalgo showing his quickness. And we're looking for any penalty flags. None to be seen. Touchdown stands. Garfield now with, we'll call it a 55-yard touchdown. Oh, here comes the point after. It looks good. It is good. And that moves the score now to 14-0 in favor of the Bulldogs. 7 minutes left in the first quarter. We'll be back with the kickoff in just a moment. This is East-L.A. Sports Scene. Okay, there's the whistle. Here's the kick. And it's going to be a pooch kick. Trying to get it out of bounds there. A flag will be thrown. And the kicker on that play was not the usual Rodriguez. It was another player that was inserted in for kicking duties. So Coach Hernandez certainly taking this opportunity to vary his lineup and give some players some valuable playing time, at the same time league playing time. And in game number 5 for the Bulldogs, that's very, very important to have as many players see action and learn from the experience. Third possession of the game for the Legacy Tigers. Michael Rivera, quarterback. Single back formation. Gave it off. And no running room there at all for Medrano. Just the usual 1 to 2, 3 tacklers there for the Garfield Bulldogs, just setting their sights on dropping the ball carrier in his tracks or trying to hold him for no gain and preferably for a loss. However, looks like it's back to the line. It's lost 1 yard in the play. 2nd and 11. Rivera dropping back. He's going to air it out here at the right side. Oh, overthrown. Incomplete. Pass was intended for number 4, Alejandro Loera Villa. He's a senior. He's a wide receiver and cornerback for the Tigers. Colors for the Tigers are navy and orange. Eastern League, Division III. Head coach Fernando Guzman. And again, Legacy was away last week and went to Huntington Park and came away with a 35-24 victory. 1-0 in Eastern League. Rivera looks left. Has a man in the slot. Oh, look out. It's a foot race. Still going at the 30, 20. Oh, wrapped up. Trying to hold them back from scoring. That was Hidalgo. And he's in for a touchdown. Ulysses Flores. He was a rocket that shot out of the cannon. And that's going to be at least a 45-yard touchdown. And that comes at 6:03 left in the first period of play. But there are the Tigers getting up on the board very quickly with a great play. And you couldn't ask for a better combination there. The quarterback dropped down back into his pocket, had protection, and found his receiver, Flores, in the middle of the field on a slant pattern. And he did the rest. He took off to the races, and Angel Hidalgo did his best to catch him, but he just couldn't do it. So with that touchdown, we have ourselves now a 14-7 game. And Legacy will be kicking off to the Garfield Bulldogs. This is East LA Sports Scene. We'll be right back. Okay, there goes the whistle. The whistle sounds, and that means we are ready to go back to play. On his run up to the kickoff, here comes number 25. And there it goes. Fairly deep. Fielded right there. Abel Martinez looks for a block, goes right. Oh, good tackle there in the open field. And number 41 is in there for the stop for Legacy. Trying to get the number of the kickoff. That was Arturo Bustamante. He's the kickoff, the kicker for the kickoffs for Legacy. Bustamante. Okay, here we go. Back to the Garfield Bulldogs. And Castillo in at quarterback, and he hands it off to the running back, PJ Garcia. He's going to be stopped maybe after a 1-yard gain. On the defense here for the Tigers, we've got Jorge Castañeda, number 50. Rocky Valencia is in there, 77. Jacob Jimenez, 65. Castillo at quarterback. Hand off to Garcia, over right tackle. Found a seam, still going, down the far sideline. Broke 2 tackles. 30, 20. Is he in? The signal is in for the touchdown. And here goes a big gain there for PJ Garcia unofficially. A 61-yard run. PJ Garcia is relentless in his attack on the defense. And that comes with 5:12 in the first quarter. Lots of activity here by both teams scoring. Unofficially a 61-yard run to PJ Garcia. Here comes the point after. Rodriguez. Oh, nearly blocked. And it's good though. PAT is good. We have ourselves now 21-7 ball game. And we'll be back with a kickoff in just a moment. This is East LA Sports Scene. Okay, there's the whistle. And Rodriguez set to come forward for the kickoff. And it's going to go pretty deep. Oh, it's touched by the receiver, and it goes into the end zone. That was number 10, Christian Moreno, who was sailing a little high, went through his gloves and into the end zone. 1st and 10 for Legacy. This is their 4th possession of the game. And on their last possession, big play happened. Let's see if Coach Guzman liked that enough. He may go the other way and send him down the right side and slant towards the left side. Let's take a look at the spread offense here. And they run a pro style. Flankers on both sides of the field. Keep your eye on number 11. That's Ulysses Flores. He's a speed merchant. Rivera looks right. Down and out. Oh, a little too high for his receiver. Intended for Alberto Loera Villa. Incomplete. Clock stopped with 5:03. left in the quarter. Legacy, again, in their first 4 games, they took on Franklin on an away game, and they lost that one 44-13. Came back and won a game against Hawthorne. They won that by forfeit. And then they lost to Verdugo Hills on August 30th, 55-40. And then last week, or 2 weeks ago, they lost to Locke, 37-7. Last week they beat Huntington Park. And here they are now against Garfield in the league opener, Eastern League opener for Garfield. Rivera wrapped up. And that was Andrew Hernandez, solo tackle. Give him credit for that. Number 4 for the Garfield Bulldogs. And giving a team stat here on the Bulldogs, thus far in 4 games, they've had 19 sacks, 12 interceptions. And leading the tackles for the Garfield Bulldogs, Nick Delgadillo, number 28, with 49. Matt Ventura and Joe Sedano with 26 each. And we'll give you more data in just a moment. Here we go, back to the action. Rivera dropping back, airs it out here to the right. Looks like he might have been hit as he threw it. The ball just went straight up into the air. No intended receiver close by at all. Extreme pressure applied to the quarterback by number 48, Miguel Ortiz, coming in from his left end spot. Okay, and prior to that 4th down punt, Legacy is going to call a timeout, and it comes at 4:17 in the first half. We'll be back in a moment. This is CIF-L.A. Sports Scene. Note then. Okay, we're back. Here we go. Bustamante in deep punt formation. Oh, looks like the punter was hit on the kick. But running it back is Garfield. Matt Ventura brought it back, but it was very close about a penalty being called on roughing the kicker, but the referees passed on that, and the kick was up, and a short kick fielded by Ventura, and he has put the Garfield Bulldogs in excellent field position. Spotting the ball roughly, let's call it at the 20-yard line, 1st and 10, 4th possession of the game for Garfield, and they've scored on each and every one of the possessions in the game thus far. We're just in the first quarter play with 4 minutes left to go. Bautista back. Romero in motion. Bautista rolling to the right. Has the receiver Romero on a down and out. And then he's wrapped up there by number 11, Ulysses Flores. Picks up some yardage. Let's give him first and about 5 yards on the reception. 2nd and 5. And we picked up here from our vantage point here, one of the wide receivers is number 11, Bruce Gonzalez. In the slot next to Romero on the left side. Hand off to Andrew Garcia. Goes over right tackle. Got some blocks and then picks up some good yardage. Number 23, Andrew Garcia in at running back. So we're going to see a multiple array of players for Garfield in the opening game of the Eastern League. So Coach Hernandez and his staff feel this is a very, very opportune time to get his players, as they say, some taste of the actual league games. The big front line for Garfield remains the same. We'll give you their names in just a moment. But there's a penalty flag coming from the side judge. He's got an audio system, and we'll try to pick up the sound.
Encroachment, defense. Half the distance, first down.
Okay, encroachment on the defense, half the distance to the goal. So Garfield looking to punch in another touchdown. Bautista. Oh, gave it to Garcia. Nothing doing there. The big front four for Legacy stood him up.
The give is to number 23, Andrew Garcia.
13, Hector Espinosa in on that stop, along with number 9. That was Gonzalo Carrillo.
With the stop on him. Now it's second down and goal.
Second and goal for the Bulldogs.
By the Legacy Tigers.
Garcia in as a lone running back for Garfield. He's next to Bautista. There's a snap. Going to be a pass over the middle, broken up. Oh, good defense in there by, let's give number 11 credit for the Tigers. That was Ulysses Flores. Got a hand on that pass and broke it up. Pass goes incomplete. Clock stops. 2:02 left in the first period. This is CIF-L.A. Sports Scene Productions of the High School Game of the Week, as we are now in week number 6.
Third and goal. Bulldogs will try again. Legacy defense is hanging tough.
Let's go third and goal. And Garcia bolts through the line, picked up the block, and is in for the touchdown. So 4 for 4 for the Bulldogs. And it's Andrew Garcia putting the points up on the board. And that will move the score now to 27-7. Fabian Munoz Rodriguez in for the point after. Snap, the kick, blocked. Oh, in there very, very quickly. Number 4, Arturo Loera Villa gets credit for that block. So the score will stand at 27-7. We'll be back with a kickoff in just a moment. This is East LA Sports Scene. Okay, whistle blows. The teams are set. Special teams are on the field for both schools. Here comes Rodriguez. Another kick. It's going to go deep. And come running it out for the Tigers. And let's see who runs that back. There's number 4. Give him credit. And that was, again, Arturo Loera Villa. Loera hyphen Villa. Villa. First and 10 now for the Tigers. Their 5th possession, all coming in the first quarter of play. Rivera has some big front line there as blockers. Oh, Medrano just hit and stopped Anaya in there very quickly, along with Ortiz. The ends, the 2 defensive ends for the Bulldogs, just read that play correctly and stopped Medrano for a loss. 1-yard loss on the play, 2nd and 11. Okay, they break the huddle now. Here come the Tigers.
Loss of a yard on that play.
2nd and 11. Rivera has it. And nothing happening on that play there. It's going to be 3rd down, but sacked in the backfield. Big loss in the play there. Gonzalo Carrillo, number 9, goes into the ball game. Rivera, number 1 on his jersey, still the quarterback.
So here we go, 3rd
He's got receivers on both sides. Rivera looks right. Oh, look out. The wall just caved in with Bulldogs streaming through it. Anthony Ruvalcaba, number 55, is in there. Give him credit for being one of the first players. And there's the buzzer to end the first period of play. And the teams will change sides of the field, and we'll be back with more coverage of our high school game of the week, Garfield versus Legacy. Okay, here we go. There's the whistle. And a punt formation is Bustamante. Uh-oh, flag. Flag got thrown there by the crew chief. Okay. False start on the offense, 5-yard penalty. Still 4th down. Garfield will certainly be in excellent field position on this punt. Angel Hidalgo is the only receiver set to receive the punt. In shallow position is number 4, Andrew Hernandez. Inside his own end zone is Bustamante, the punter. He's got it, gets it off. Heading over here towards the 50-yard line. It'll go out of bounds just around that angle there of the 50-yard line, as Hidalgo had no choice but to let it bounce out of bounds, and they're going to set it at the Garfield 47-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10. Giving you some more team stats here for the Garfield Bulldogs. Receiving yards, average per game, 99. And rushing yards per game, average 257. And they've been reseeded now for 18 touchdowns thus far in 4 games. Again, we mentioned on defensive tackles, they're averaging, they're 66.8. Here we are now. Pass aired out in the flat, complete to Gonzalez. Oh, showing some skills as a receiver. Oh, and got good positive yardage down to about the 35-yard line. And that's Israel Castillo. And Gonzalez showing his skills there. We saw him, as we said, the first 4 games at quarterback. Checked that first 3 games. And was did not play in the Crenshaw game. And then last week was a bye week, and so Coach Hernandez has some time to check that athlete out, or check him out for other skills that he possesses. Castillo, quarterback, number 15, passes. Oh, and a comeback. Yes, it's complete to Hidalgo. Good hook up there. Coverage by number 7, Alberto Loera-Villa. Along with number 11, Ulysses Flores. But good pass there. Passed very, very nicely by Israel Castillo, as Hidalgo sped it up and then came back for the pass that was underthrown. Castillo hands it off to P.J. Garcia, running straight up the middle. Found a big hole and then weaved his way through it. There's a penalty flag there thrown right at the end of that play. Let's wait for the audible call here by the referee. He's looking over to Garfield.
Offense, 10 yards, repeat first down.
Okay, we heard the referee announce to the crowd holding against the Garfield Bulldogs. And that's going to set them back 10 yards. Okay, they're back in formation here now. Castillo airs it out. Complete to Andrew Hernandez. Touchdown. Oh, my goodness. A 25-yard unofficially touchdown strike. Going up top. Castillo to Hernandez. And there's another big touchdown here for the Bulldogs, and that comes at 10:31 left in the half. Scoring pass there from Castillo. Took his time because he had good protection. And Hernandez turned backwards and saw the ball coming to him and caught it and fell back into the end zone. Point after, Rodriguez, this one's good. They're working on the timing because the last one was blocked. This one is good. And that's going to move the score now to 34-7. And we'll be back with the kickoff in just a moment. This is East LA Sports Scene. Okay, here we go now. Garfield ready to kick off. It's Rodriguez. Here's the run up. And there's a kick. Sailing deep. Oh, good run back there. Number 10 was Christian Moreno. And just showed a burst of speed there. Got him back up to about, let's call it the 30-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Legacy Tigers out of Southgate, California. And in speaking to Coach Guzman before the game, we asked for some top players. And, of course, he mentioned his quarterback, number 1, and Ulysses, Florida's number 11. But there's also, we need to be looking for number 2. That's Mark Medrano, one of the running backs. And number 9, Gonzalo Carrillo. And then number 7, Alberto Loera Villa. Some of the top players on the Legacy Tigers. Okay, whistles are on the field now. Okay, and they're going to charge a timeout to the Legacy Tigers, and with that, we'll step aside and come back in a moment. This is East LA Sports Scene. Okay, we're back to the action. And there's the whistle, sounding play. Rivera, not too much time. Oh, no protection. The blocking broke down. And 3 or 4 Bulldogs in the backfield. There's a flag, a penalty flag on the field. And here goes another one we just saw. So now there's 2 flags on the field. And we'll follow the crew chief in the white hat. The side judge has thrown his, and we'll see if the crew chief also threw his. So they're counseling and conferring by committee. Let's see what he says here on the audible. Okay, offsetting penalties. Ball will. Okay, unsportsmanlike conduct against Garfield. That was the second penalty, but there was an offset due to a penalty against Legacy. Okay, they've got the ball spotted. Let's call it, we're at maybe the 25-yard line. They're calling it 2nd and 15. Rivera looking over the middle. Oh, broken up nicely. And that is Sonny Hidalgo, number 10. Overreacting a little too much there and said something to the player, Legacy. And that's going to cost them 15 yards. So now you see Sonny Hidalgo talking to one of the judges there with referees, asking him, what did I do or what did I say? But evidently the referee that was right in the middle of that play there heard him and saw some movement there. He didn't appreciate and flagged him for it. 15-yard penalty, major penalty against the Bulldogs for that infraction. Ball's now going to be moved out to about the 40, let's call it the 43-yard line. And their teams are going to the sideline. Let's see what the call is here. Is it an official timeout?
So good defense by the Bulldogs, but the penalties cost them.
Okay, we see the referee, the crew chief. We'll call him crew chief equals white hat. And evidently they have not signaled or given who the timeout was charged to. So there you see Coach Hernandez talking to the crew chief. Okay, sounds like we're back because we've heard the whistle signaling the play to start. Rivera looking to his left. Oh, the pocket just collapsed on him. The big front four rush. Anaya, Serrano, Delgadillo, Rubalcaba. And Miguel Ortiz, number 48, just very aggressive on the front four. They're not meeting that much resistance from the O-line of Legacy, and they're pouring through. It's going to be fourth down now, and let's call it big time, fourth and 20. Back to receive is Angel Hidalgo, number 9 for Garfield. Bustamante gets it off. Oh, Hidalgo picked it up on one bounce. Got through 3 defenders going up the sidelines. Got room. Got one man to beat. And he beat the punter. That was Bustamante. A punt return from about the 40-yard line. Unofficially, we call it 60 yards. However, let's see if there's any penalties on the field. Unofficially, we have a 60-yard punt return. Not sure of the flags, though. That's always our dilemma when we go forward on the play. Very difficult to see where the penalties came through or not. But we do, yes, we see the crew chief talking to the back judge, and there's a flag down there. And the crew chief is going to check with his other back judge. And here comes the verdict. Okay, a personal foul, a blind side block will negate that beautiful effort there by Angel Hidalgo. So denied. And a penalty against the Bulldogs. They're going to have to be very concerned about the number of unsportsmanlike or major penalties that they're accruing here. 1st and 10 for the Bulldogs. Quick checkoff pass from Romero, or to Romero. Let's see who the quarterback was now. Jonathan Batista in at quarterback, and number 18 for Garfield. Incomplete pass. 6th possession of the game for the Garfield Bulldogs, and they've scored basically on their first 5. Activity by Batista. He's got an opening on the far sideline. Stepped in, broke a tackle, and then is going to be downed. Okay. Big run there. Was that the quarterback that kept it key on an option, read option? Jonathan Bautista showing some running skills. And that is going to be a very, very good play for the Bulldogs into the red zone again here. 8 minutes and 43 seconds left in the half. Jonathan Bautista, the third quarterback we've seen in 5 games here for Garfield. Oh, bad snap. Picked it up on the bounce. Throws it out here in the flat. He's got Romero. Oh, Romero dropped it, picked it up on the bounce. Oh, all kinds of action going on, these plays here. And he's going to lose big yardage on that. It's going to bring up 2nd and 20 on the bad snap. And Jonathan Bautista scrambled around and did what he had to do to reclaim the ball. And then he threw it out for completion to Romero, but it ended up as a loss. Flag by the crew chief. And let's see what he says here. And the offense is going to be charged with a 5-yard penalty. And the Tigers will accept that. Okay, Bulldogs back in possession here. Now they're even further. 2nd and 25. They'll need to get all the way down to this inside the 5-yard line. Oh. Looks like offsides as a signal from the side judge. And they're going to call the encroachment on the Tigers, so it evens out. And Garfield gets the real estate back. The other 5 yards it just lost. 2nd and 20.
2nd and 20.
Jonathan Bautista, number 18. P.J. Garcia is a lone running back behind him. Nice separation on the offensive line. And here comes Bautista. Connected to Angel Gar's pivots. Oh, breaking tackles. Still driving. He is determined once he catches that pass. Oh, several legacy players upset that they didn't wrap him up. And Bulldogs now, is it goal to goal, or where they're going to mark the ball at? The line of scrimmage has got to be at about the 5-yard line, 2nd down. And whistles again, just stopping play. Okay, and the Tigers will be penalized for illegal substitution at half the distance to the goal, so it's going to be 2nd. They're going to call a 3rd and about, let's call it 1 for a 1st down. 6:49 left in the half. Garfield 34, Legacy 7. Okay, they overruled that and say it is a 1st down. 1st and goal to go now.
No foul on the play.
Okay, inadvertent flag. You see the referee waving it off high over his head. That is the mechanic for inadvertent flag. Disregard the penalty. There was no penalty. Here we go. Back to the action. Jonathan Bautista. P.J. Garcia. Flores with the snap. Oh, on a slant. Touchdown. And let's see who caught that. Bruce Gonzalez on a slant inward to the goalpost, and he was hit on time there, in time by Bautista. And that puts another 6 points up on the board. And we're still in the first half. Bautista to Gonzalez. That comes at 6:24 in the first half. 40-7 now. Let's see what the extra point gives. And there's the placement, the kick, and it's good. And that moves the score now to 41-7 in favor of the Garfield Bulldogs. So they're just setting the Garfield Stadium on fire with all kinds of scoring activity here in the first half of play, and there's 6 minutes and 24 seconds left to go. We'll be back with the kickoff in just a moment. This is CIF-L.A. Sports Scene's High School Game of the Week. Okay, we're set to go. Here comes the Garfield kicker. It's going to be Fabian Munoz Rodriguez. He's a left footer. Let's see if he wants to go deep or medium or shallow. It looks like it's going to be short. Looks like the Bulldogs may be working on some different things here during this game. Looked like it was a short kick, possibly trying to work on the onside kicking strategies. It's going to give Legacy good field position here at the 50-yard line. First and 10, here come the Tigers out of the huddle. Ball's marked on the far hash mark. Bulldogs wearing their traditional dark blue and crimson trim. Okay, we have a timeout on the field. Timeout's going to be for Garfield. And we'll be back after the timeout. This is CIF-L.A. Sports Scene. Okay, here's the whistle set to go. And Rivera, it just tosses up to his running back, and in there on the stop was Anaya and Ruvalcaba. That could have spelled more trouble, but it wasn't really a clean handoff. He just tossed it up in the air for him. And there is a big loss on that play. 2nd and 19. Flanked out here to the left is number 10, Christian Moreno. Two players in the slots. Rivera looking to his left. Big pressure. And he's going to be, his forward progress is going to be stopped. Let's see, at the 20, let's call it the 35-yard line. So the Bulldog front four just applying massive amounts of pressure on the Legacy Tigers front line, O-line. And it's now, let's call it 3rd and 22. Ball's going to be spotted right at, let's call it the 37-yard line. Clock running now with 4:52 left in the half. Rivera has it, looking left. Underthrown, intended for Moreno. He was pretty much left alone there to do his operation, do his route, but ball was well short. So it brings up 4th down now. Back in punt formation is Hidalgo. He's very, very dangerous. He's a multiple threat to score either on offense or defense. He's also blessed with some exceptional speed. Back to punt is Arturo Bustamante, number 25. There's a snap. He's going to get it off. Let's see what Hidalgo do this time. He feels it. Comes right, looking for some blocks. Big stiff arm to this defender, and then he's knocked out of bounds. Very, very strong play at the end of that run back. Let's see, he's going to be stopped at about the 30-yard line. So give him credit for at least the 10, 30, 40 yards on the return, 30, 35-yard return by Angel Hidalgo. Bulldogs come out now. Castillo, number 15, along with P.J. Garcia. Bruce Gonzalez way out on the far left as a flanker. Gonzalez along with Romero on the right side. Handoff, it goes to P.J. Went left, goes right. Whoa, another big move, goes left again. And Garcia, oh my goodness, just showing all kinds of moves before he's finally brought down by Moreno, number 10. And he near the end zone. Another patented run there by P.J. Garcia, blowing through right behind his big O-line. And all he needs is a very small seam, and he's in daylight. Castillo, Garcia. Pile is moving, and he's going to be short. Just maybe a tad short of the touchdown. It's going to bring up 2nd and goal. And this time Garcia is in for the touchdown. Side judge is signaling that. And it's another touchdown for his career record for P.J. Garcia. And that's going to put the score up at 47-7 now. And that came at 3:35. 2-yard blast over left tackle. And here comes a point after now. Oh, it's a fake. Hidalgo, straight up the middle. And there he goes in for 2-point conversion. And that's going to make it 49-7. 2-point conversion run by Angel Hidalgo. And that will move the score now to 49-7. And let's see what they're going to do here, because we're certainly within the mercy rule regulations here, 40-point or more, and it's supposed to be running clock due to the mercy rule. So let's see what happens here and when they talk to the coaches about invoking that. We're still in the first half with 3 minutes and 36 seconds left. As we approach autumn, which will be tomorrow, we're kind of feeling the onset of the fall season coming in. As football season, as you can feel it now, we've moved from summer now into a beautiful warm day, and now at night it begins to get breezy and the temperature starts to drop into the 70s and maybe the high 60s. Here we are, Friday Night Lights, and here they're working on it again. The Bulldogs on a kickoff. And looks like this is really an opportunity for the Bulldogs just to work on some techniques and some things that the coaches need to have the players very familiar with as they go through the regular season. And it's going to be Legacy going at 3:32, so it's not the mercy rule as of yet. Clock is not moving, and it's stopped at 3:32. 1st and 10 for the Legacy Tigers. 8th possession of the game thus far. Handoff. Oh, good run there. Good positive run there by number 2. Mark Medrano, just determined to gain something, to make something positive out of that carry. And he picks up 9 yards, second and, let's call it 8 yards, 2nd and 2. Clock moving, 3:05 left in the half. Spread offense here for Legacy. Rivera gives it to his running back. Bolts over right tackle. There's Medrano. Broke to the outside. Down the sideline he goes. Picked up positive yardage. Knocked out of bounds finally there by Nick Delgadillo, number 28 for Garfield. In very, very hot pursuit. 1st and 10 for Legacy. And clock is moving. No, check that. The clock was stopped on the first down. 2:41 left. A slight bit of momentum here for Legacy. And then the whistle. Okay, defense is going to be penalized for encroachment. Offsides against Garfield. 1st and 5 now for Michael Rivera and his Legacy Tigers. Rivera along with Medrano in the backfield. Receivers, Medrano again, but nothing doing. Oh no. P.J. Garcia was in there on the stop. Joe Serrano. And we have Miguel Ortiz. They read that play nicely. Holding the Tigers to no gain on that play. It's going to be 2nd and 11. Okay, they break the huddle. Here they come. There's a snap. Oh, nearly intercepted on the read there by Angel Hidalgo. Pass was intended for number 11. That was Ulysses Flores. And he's slow getting up there. Something might have happened at the end of that play there, so they're going to take a look at him. They're going to attend to him. So the medical team is out there. And with that, we'll step aside and take a break here on East LA Sports Scene's coverage of the high school game of the week. Okay, Ulysses Flores comes off the field. He's going to be okay. He had his own power. Rivera dropping back, airing it out, underneath it. The receiver cannot get to it. Overthrown by the quarterback. Clock stops on the incomplete pass with 1:51 left in the half. Speaking about the Garfield defense, as we mentioned on tackles, Andrew Hernandez is credited with 29 thus far. Anthony Rubalcaba with 25. And we mentioned Matt Ventura and Joe Serrano with 26. And leading the pack, Nick Delgadillo with 49. Interceptions, Angel Hidalgo has 5 thus far in the season for 110 yards total returns. And one was a 98-yard play against Crenshaw. Oh, now he's going to be dropped. Naya along with Serrano. And he gets dropped for a sack. It's going to bring up 4th down. I'll check that. That was 4th down for Legacy. And on the change of possession, the Garfield Bulldogs once again will claim the ball for the 8th possession of the half. And they've been 7 for 7. Perfect 7 for 7, 100% in terms of scoring in that possession. So they're 7 for 7. Whistle sounds will stop that play. Jonathan Bautista is in there with number 23, Andrew Garcia. And it's going to be offsides on the offense. False start. False start on the offense. Check that. Going to bring up 1st and 15. Whistle sounds. Ready to go. Bautista in the flat. Incomplete. Looks like Gonzalez was the intended receiver, but he was nowhere near the ball. Clock stop with 1:40 left in the half. Garfield way up on top. 49-7. Same formation. Andrew Garcia is behind Bautista. Bautista throws a dart. Headed towards Gonzalez. Can't handle it. Incomplete pass. So in our analysis of the Bulldogs in this game, in comparison to the first 4 games, lots of passing tonight. This has been a passing game for Coach Lorenzo Hernandez. He's put that in there to make sure that the team and the squad is going to be able to handle that should they need to go into that type of offense. Bautista. Here it is. He's got a receiver. Streaking down the left sideline. He's at the 50-40. Looks at Gonzalez. Yes. And are there any flags on the field? So roughly, let's call it a 60-yard touchdown to Bruce Gonzalez from Jonathan Bautista. And that comes at 1:23 left in the half. So again, unofficially, we'll give you a 60-yard touchdown pass. And it does count. Here comes the point after. The kick is up. And it's good. So another 7 points. It's going to bring it to 56 to 7.
And the score 56-7 in favor
And
of the Bulldogs.
we'll have the kickoff in just a moment. The clock is stopped at 1:23. We'll be back with more of East LA Sports Scene's High School Game of the Week. Whistle sounds. Here we go now. Kicking off for Garfield. Line drive by Rodriguez. And it's going to be fielded here. Straight up the middle. Villa. He's still driving. Refusing to go down. And that was on the kickoff return. 1st and 10 for the Legacy Tigers. Clock stopped at 1:12. So the invocation of the mercy rules most likely will be at the beginning of the second half. Whistle blows. Here comes the Tigers out of the huddle. Michael Rivera at quarterback. Oh, gave it to his running back. Looked like it was number 2. Mark Medrano. Yeah, he may get back to the line of scrimmage. And Joe Serrano in on the stop. Clock is stopped on the field. 1:08 left in the half. It looks like the Legacy Tigers have taken the 3rd and final timeout of the half. Okay, we're back to the action here. Garfield defensive unit still intact. Rivera, on a slant pattern. That was intended for number 13, Hector Espinosa.
That'll make it third down.
4 seconds ticked off the clock, is now set at 1:04 left in the period. So the Garfield Bulldogs putting on explosive air attack tonight. It's earned them a total of 8 touchdowns, giving them that score of 56-7. Rivera airs it out in the flat, underthrown, intended for Christian Moreno. Fourth down now, 1 minute even in the half. Okay, here comes the snap. Bustamante has it. Looked like it might have been partially blocked by Hidalgo. And the ball's going to be angled out of bounds here at about the, let's call it the 30-yard line. First and 10. And it's going to be a change of possession. So let's see what Garfield, what Coach Hernandez sends out here for the last 53 seconds of the half.
Ball will be spotted at the 28-yard line, and the Bulldogs take over the 28.
Okay, Israel Castillo comes out with the unit, along with P.J. Garcia, Bruce Gonzalez, Angel Hidalgo, and Jimmy Romero. The trips out to the far left. Handoff to Garcia, is going over right tackle, sprinting, still on his feet at the 10-yard line.
About the 9-yard line.
And he ran out of bounds on a first down. The clock will stop.
Israel Castillo is in at quarterback for Garfield.
Same formation. Castillo keeps it. He's going to try and bootleg it in for a touchdown, and he does. Israel Castillo. Touchdown for the Bulldogs. That's going to be their 9th score of the half. They've literally scored on every possession, and it comes with 32 seconds left in the half.
So Castillo keeps it, makes the handoff, and goes on the outside.
So here comes the point after now.
Like Castillo goes in for the score. And now Rodriguez.
There is a point after, and it's good. And there's the score as we approach the end of the half, 63-7. And we'll be back with the kickoff in just a moment. This is East LA Sports Scene. Okay, there's the whistle. Here comes the approach. And it's going to be a deep kick by Rodriguez. Oh, Villaloera had it. Now check that. Christian Moreno is the kickoff returner there. Took a pretty hard shot there by the special teams from Garfield. Clock stopped with 13 seconds left in the half. Okay, let's see what happens here for the final, hopefully is the final play of the half. Rivera at quarterback with Medrano. Handoff goes to Medrano, trying to get outside, gets to the sideline, and is knocked out of bounds. Clock is running. Check that.
That's Mark Medrano.
Stop with 8 seconds. Here come the Tigers out again. Spread formation. Handoff again. And that is the end of the first half. And it's 63-7 over Garfield over Legacy. So we'll be back after the halftime intermission. This is UCLA Sports Team's coverage of the high school game of the week.
Bulldog Band and Grill Team.
Okay, here we are now. We're set to go for the second half. And Southgate's Legacy High School Tigers set to kick off to the East Los Angeles Garfield Bulldogs. Third quarter play, and here we go now. It's going to be heading down towards the far sideline. A good run back. Good blocking. Still going. That's Abel Martinez. Will he run it back all the way? It should be a 95-yard touchdown if it stands. Oh, my goodness. We're unofficially ruling it a 95-yard, but there could be a flag. Could be a flag. Is it during the play or after the play? That is the question. Let's see if there was some type of celebration that might have happened after Abel Martinez got into the the end zone for a touchdown. And they've stopped the clock at 11:44 to figure this out.
Touchdown. We have a touchdown. After the play, dead ball, unsportsmanlike conduct against the scoring team. It'll be 15 yards on the kickoff.
Okay, that's what the official in the white hat, the crew chief, has addressed all the people in attendance tonight with the explanation of the penalty. It was for excessive celebration, and it'll cost them 15 yards on the kickoff. Here is Rodriguez for the point after. And the first play of the second half results in a touchdown. So everything Garfield touches tonight is turned into a touchdown. And this has been the 10th possession, and that is the 10th touchdown. So it's very, very unique in numbers. Where they correspond right to the scoreboard, and each possession that they've had, it's resulted in a touchdown. Here comes the snap. The kick is up. And it is signaled to be good. So we are going to now change the teams coming in. The special teams will come out for the kickoff and the kickoff return. And while they do that, we will step aside for a timeout here of our own on East LA Sports Team's high school game of the week. Okay, here we go now. Garfield set to kick off, and now we are in running clock time. It's the mercy rule invoked, and officials now will apply that rule to this game. Rodriguez gets it off. And let's see the run back. That was, again, Loera Villa, who ran it back and give him about 5-yard return on the kickoff. So we're underway here, third quarter. And it's going to be Legacy ball here. 1st and 10 from their own 34-yard line. 10 minutes and 10 seconds left in the third quarter. And in running clock mode, Rivera, Medrano. And he's tackled there. Looks like that was Nick Delgadillo, came in from his linebacking spot. Legacy Tigers, again, just to refresh some of the information we've given you about them. They are in Division III, but they've been moved into the Eastern League, so this is their first time playing up in this in the league, but again at Division III level. Garfield, Division I level. Just to make that distinction for the viewers. Medrano got hit in the backfield, but dragged the tackler forward. And that tackle was made by P.J. Garcia. Gain of about 1, so third, let's call it 3rd and 8.
Garfield defense is still tough.
Michael Rivera, the quarterback, he's one of the co-captains.
Michael Rivera at quarterback.
At the line of scrimmage. There's his man in motion. Hands it off. Ooh. Positive yardage on the carry. That was again Mark Medrano, number 2. He's a senior, goes in at 180. And he's going to be short of a first down. Let's call it 4th and 1.
It's 4th and 1.
Okay, flanked out here to the far right is Ulysses Florida, number 11. Keep your eye on him. He's a very, very strong running, catch and run player here as a wide receiver. He has scored the only touchdown for Legacy. Spinning, trying to get forward, and he will not be successful from our vantage point up here. Mark Medrano.
So Legacy goes for it, and that Bulldog defense.
He's coming up with a little limp there in his stride. He got stood up there, and then the 2 or 3 other Bulldogs came in and stopped him for no gain on the play. It's going to bring up 1st and 10 for the Garfield Bulldogs at the Legacy 41-yard line. Jonathan Bautista still at quarterback here. He's handled most of the snaps here in tonight's game for the Garfield Bulldogs. Fumble, balls on the field. And coming up with it, looks like Legacy.
Legacy might have recovered. Yes, it signals Legacy recovers a fumble.
And let's give credit to big defensive lineman there. Number 64. Gets credit, that's Francisco Tovar. Plays on both sides of the ball, offense and defense, two-way player. And the ball, looked like the ball may have hit one of the linemen's legs. Never got back to the quarterback, and it was on the ground. And then it got kicked, and then went further back, and that's when Tovar had a great angle to jump on it. Clock moving now with 5:40 left in the third quarter. And then a personal foul added on top of that. So Legacy getting advantage of the real estate here. Ball's moved down to the Garfield 35-yard line. Clock continues to run because we are now in the mercy rule regulation of high school football here in LA City section. Man in motion. Rivera, quickly through. Ball carrier. That was number 4, Arturo Loera Villa.
By number 69.
And some of the new players here for Garfield are getting some playing time. Number 69, Sabdiel Maria. He's a 5'8", senior, 213 pounds. We'll try to identify some of the backup players here for Garfield now. They're getting an opportunity for some good playing time. Rivera, shotgun, offset back to the right. Goes through. Loera Villa on the carry. And he goes through for a few more yards. Give him credit for 2. It's going to bring up 3rd and 7.
With the carry. He smacks into the line for short gain.
Let's get you some of the Garfield players on defense. Number 35 is in there.
3rd down and 6 for Legacy.
That's Felix Ayala.
Legacy is on the move.
84 is in there. Number 7 is Thomas Serrano. He's of course, on defense. He's one of the cornerbacks. Man in motion. Rivera going deep. Brought in. Caught. Nicely caught there. Nicely thrown. Good timing pattern.
Fantastic catch made there.
And that gets credit to number 11. There he is, Ulysses Flores. Big play, big time player right there. Gets the ball down to the Garfield. Let's call it 2-yard line. 30-yard pass play. And that went from Rivera to Flores. So that's a good connection when it's working, when they have time. All important to have time. Garfield goal line defense now. Set to get to work. Medrano goes over right tackle. He's in for the touchdown.
And Legacy goes in for the score.
And that will give them some points here, badly needed points. As a crowd just waiting to burst out in some applause, and then there you hear them. Glad to see that they've scored another touchdown.
After the play, dead ball, personal foul, Garfield.
Another dead ball, personal foul. Goes against Garfield. Touchdown stands. Here comes a point after now. There's the set, the placement, the kick is up.
Kick by Jorge Soltero is good.
And it's good. So that puts another point up on the board.
Legacy
And 70-14. So finally another point, another touchdown goes up on the board for the Legacy Tigers. We'll be back with the kickoff in just a moment. This is East LA Sports Scene. Here we are. We're set for the 4th quarter now. Again, time is moving fast because of the running clock. Because of the huge disparity in the scoring. It's 70-14. And anything with a 40-point margin or a 40-point spread is going to be given to the mercy rule. Okay, kickoff. Goes into the end zone, and it'll be brought back out of bounds. The kickoff went into the end zone because of the 15-yard penalty that was assessed after the touchdown. So it's going to be 1st and 10 for the Garfield Bulldogs. As they come out now, lots and lots of playing time here for the players on Garfield's side due to the The big spread, the point spread. Let's see who will be sent out to get some very, very very good playing time here. Castillo's in at quarterback. Andrew Garcia is his running back. Bump ball got on the field again. Bad snap from center. It's going to bring up 2nd and 10 for the Bulldogs. Clock moving now with 10 minutes and 45 seconds left in the contest. Wide receivers on both sides for Castillo. He's going to carry it, bootlegging around. Oh, the left side, and looks like he may have picked up a first down or close to it. Israel Castillo gave the option to his running back and then pulled it back and kept it. And turned it upfield for a gain. Offensive linemen in a very, very wide display of their set formation as blockers. Oh, PJ Garcia has it. Put on a move, put the brakes on, slipped outside, then inside. And a flag is thrown there at the end of that play. But let's see, give him credit up to about the 42-yard line. Then a flag gets tossed. Let's see who it's going to go against. On the defense. Okay, tack on 15 more yards there for Garfield. Well, check that. We thought it was PJ Garcia, but it was his reserve, Andrew Garcia. They got credit for that run. Very similar running style with PJ. And there goes a mark off by the officials. And we'll get you some of the players that are now in the game for Garfield that we haven't seen for a bit.
1st and 10 Bulldogs fall on the 43-yard line.
In it, one of the receivers, number 8, Dominic Garcia. There goes a pitch. Check that. Oh, still going. Thought it looked like a pitch from up here where we were, but it was not. It was a keeper. Israel Castillo just showing some excellent running skills. He's a 5'7" quarterback. And he's a junior, 181 pounds.
Keeps the ball and gets some great yardage. 1st and 10.
In on the big line, let's identify some of the big linemen there for you. 77 is Ricardo Gomez, 6 feet, 327 pounds. And next to him is 74 is Samuel Madera, 5'10", 245 pounds. He's also a junior. And do we have another penalty flag thrown? Let's hear what it is. Okay, penalizing Legacy on defense for encroachment.
Costly penalty for Legacy.
Okay, Israel Castillo, a quarterback. High snap, keeps it going right this time. He's going to be brought down. 2 tacklers in there. And we'll give their names. Number 3 was Normundo Bermudez. And number 63, the 53, Juan Vega.
Legacy, I believe it's Moises Montoya who made the tackle.
Few more linemen in here for you on Garfield. Let's give you number 68. That's Axel Osorio, 283 pounds, tackle. Garcia, Andrew, not going anywhere. It's going to be brought down. 75 gets credit on that tackle for Legacy.
Number 23 was carried for the Bulldogs, but he runs into a wall of Legacy defender.
And that's going to bring up, let's call it 3rd and 11.
And Fernando Gutierrez put the stop.
.64 is in for Garfield as the center. Eduardo Flores. Oh, still running, still going. Oh, my goodness. Castillo. Read option is his specialty there. As you saw Israel Castillo gaining more yardage. And he's been the main ball carrier here on the running game for the Garfield Bulldogs with 5 minutes and 30 seconds left in the game.
Israel Castillo with a great run. And it's first and goal. Bulldogs.
Flanked out far to the right side, left side is Matthew De Leon, number 2. Oh, Castillo kept it, paid the price, got stacked. That was a fake option to the running back. And Castillo kept it, but didn't go anywhere.
So Castillo keeps the ball, tries to run, but he's grabbed and wrapped up by Hector Espinoza.
In on the stop, number 13, Espinoza.
Ball at about the 5-yard line.
Ball spotted at the 5-yard line. 2nd and goal, 2nd and 5.
Down.
2nd and goal to go for the Bulldogs. Flag, whistle. Got 2 men on the field for Legacy.
Illegal substitution. Defense. Half the distance.
Half the distance to the goal.
So Legacy with a costly penalty will move the ball up for the Bulldogs half the distance. The 2.5-yard line marker.
Clock continues to move with 3:58. Handoff, straight up the middle. And the ball carrier, number 20 for Garfield. And let's see where they're going to spot that. Bulldogs on the verge of scoring another touchdown. Castillo gives it to his running back off left tackle, and he's in. He goes in for the score.
It's good for a touchdown. Bulldogs.
And they're in the 11th possession of the game. The Bulldogs
20 is the man that goes in for the score.
they go in for the touchdown. Here comes a point after. Score now reads 76-14. And a point after now for Rodriguez. Looks like it might have been blocked a little bit, but it's good nonetheless. So Rodriguez, wow, he's had himself quite a night tonight. He's been 9 for 10 on his points after. The only one he missed that was made up later on a 2-point conversion by Angel Hidalgo. But out of 10 touchdowns, he's made 9 point afters. Now we're reaching the 2-minute mark in the game. And it's good. Again, the score reads 77-14. Garfield will kick off. Clock is moving. With 1:40 left in the contest. Okay, back to receive. Loera Villa on the far, on the left. Oh, let's see who brought that back. That was number 10, Christian Moreno on the return. And we're now coming up to the 1 minute mark in the game. And special teams now have to come off the field and they'll get the units on, or will Legacy even go ahead and put the ball in play? Clock continues to move, and they're going to go ahead and line up at the 50-yard line. That's the concession here from the Legacy Tigers. And Garfield will then join them at the 50-yard line for the traditional post-game, end-of-game sportsmanship salute or the handshake. As there they go out. And we'll be back with our post-game show after both teams have saluted each other, and we will get down onto the field and get a chance to speak to head coach Lorenzo Hernandez, and we'll ask for some of the offensive linemen and introduce you to them on this edition of East LA Sports Scene's High School Game of the Week. And there's the final 77-14, and that will do it for this edition of the play-by-play version of the Game of the Week. So stand by. We are going to bring you our post-game show in just a moment. This is East LA Sports Scene's High School Game of the Week. Eduardo Flores, he is the center. He is the man that everyone has to wait and see what's going to happen, even the quarterback. Eduardo, good to see you, and a big win tonight. But talk about the season thus far, and then we'll catch everything up to tonight, okay?
Yes, sir. Well, as a team, I think we're doing a very good job as coming together. You know, I mean, you can see it on the field. Like, our chemistry that we have up front is unstoppable. And I think that's very important when it comes down to facing some big teams. If your front five have chemistry and they bond, there's no stopping you. Yeah. We've shown that throughout the season.
And you guys have really been working very closely and very tightly as a unit, because everything has to be just precise in the type of schemes that you run.
Yes, sir. Like our offensive line captain, our left tackle, he tells us that we're a unit, and if we don't move, the offense don't work. So we got to get it done right up front, or else our running back and our quarterback and our skills, they don't get no shine.
Okay. And, of course, you have been very, very pivotal in terms of everything happening when you snap it. And your timing now, you've had three quarterbacks you're trying to get acclimated to. So talk about how that's been in practice now.
Well, in the beginning, it was pretty weird, you know, changing from the cadence, because all of them have different cadences. But once you start getting into the flow of things, it just came together. Okay. And we're all of us, the entire O-line, we're all tight with all three quarterbacks. So, like, regardless if something happens, then we got their back.
Okay, and you are a junior, Eduardo, and, of course, academics here at Garfield is very important. Talk about that.
Well, I'm taking an honor class and an AP class right now. My grades are good, 3.8 GPA. I'm good right now. Okay. And a very strong program here now, 5-0 this year, very big, off to a great start. Yes, sir. But I think it comes down to how hard we work, you know, like in that weight room. And during that summer, it all comes down to how much work we put in there. Okay. Yes, sir. All right. You got to be feeling very good. The campus is feeling good. Yes, the winning has changed a lot of character, right? Yes, sir. More spirit. Okay. Yes, and again, just opening up the Eastern League and more games to come. And then, as they say, the next season, the playoffs. So your thoughts right now about where do you think the Bulldogs are now as a team? I think we're great. And with time, we'll just get better. So hopefully you see them in that championship game. Okay. Yes, sir. Eduardo Flores. Good luck to you. Okay. Thank you, sir. All right. Continued success. Now, here we go. I'm going to have all the players identify themselves just for the sake of time, but I'm speaking now to
Edgar Lozano, the right guard.
Okay, Edgar Lozano. Again, we're talking about the line play. So critical in the scheme that Coach Hernandez has put in here, and everything has to be just so. And you guys know when to fire off and when to, as they say, block and retreat and angle and all those other things. But talk about how this season has been for you so far.
Well, so far the season has been amazing. I mean, last year helped me build a lot, and since we're the closest line I've seen, we communicate perfectly. I love them. Mm-hmm. They're the best people I've met, and like this, it's just like our communication is what makes us great as a line.
It's a team within the team because on this line you cannot, as they say, be off sides or be jumping too much, or you have to be just so your angles and we know the spread that you have on the offensive line here very, very critical for the running backs.
Yeah, the spreads actually helps us make way because linemen lead the way, so that's what helps running backs, and we gotta give it to our running backs because like Peter Garcia it's very, very important.
And of course the schemes can change at any time depending on who the opponent is.
Yes, they always change. We just adapt to it and we keep on rolling.
Okay, and how close is this unit here when you're not on the field? Maybe in school, or teammates, classmates.
Oh well, yeah. Most of us are classmates. We all on and off the field we're brothers. Like regardless, we always pick ourselves up, and we're very close.
Okay, and being undefeated, very, very big at this time of the season.
Yeah, but we don't want to let that get to our heads. We're just gonna keep push through it and 10-0. Yeah.
All right, and lastly, let's see, we have the Eastern League now, 1-0.
Yeah, 1-0. Well, we'll see what happens.
Okay, more to come from the Bulldog Nation. Okay, yeah. All right, thank you very much. Okay, and we're going to come right back with our next offensive lineman in just a moment. This is East LA Sports Scene. Okay, and here we are now speaking with more of the offensive linemen. I'm going to have to ask you to introduce yourself for our viewers.
My name is Martin Romero, left guard.
Okay, and Martin, you have a big duty. Obligation, as they say, to protect the passer, give your runners options, and give them the seams and the blocks and the angles. Talk about how this unit here is really, really meshed and come together.
On the field, we're on and off the field, we're just brothers, and we all pick each other up and motivate each other to keep doing better. If one of us gets something wrong, then we pick each other up, let her know, all right, it's okay, just pick it up next play.
Okay, and so far this season is undefeated. Talk about some of the challenges you've had, even though you are undefeated, because no game is perfect, correct?
Mm-hmm. Some of the challenges is keeping the intensity and continuing to keep the intensity every week and getting better every week with no matter what opponent they play, no matter what skill level they are, and just keeping the intensity.
And looking at a lot of film, doing a lot of studying of the opponent, of course, is very important because you guys need to know how far downfield you can be and avoid the penalties because sometimes they just pop up and maybe because of lack of timing. But talk about how hard you guys work at practice.
We work very hard. Even when we have our little so-called breaks, we push each other to push the sled, do extra work so we can be the best we can be and match up to anybody that we line up against.
Okay, and let's talk about some of the academics because Coach Hernandez has always told us here in East LA Sports Scene that his players must meet that absolute must of the grade point average to be able to be eligible. Mm-hmm. Talk about how you work in academics.
Obviously, academics is very important. Without academics, we wouldn't be able to play football. And we all push each other because we all want to continue the season and end the season with what we started with. Okay. And so we all just push each other in classroom, make sure we have the best grades possible.
Okay. We will see you soon on the next game. We've been loving to come in, cover the Garfield Bulldogs and give you guys even more exposure. And we hope that you guys have been able to see some of the games and see how we present you guys to our community and also to those that are looking at Garfield football and did not know about it too much, but now can see because of the continuity that we've been providing to get you guys more exposure. Talk about when you do look at some of the games that we've covered you on.
It's I feel honored to be able to be covered by you guys.
Thank you.
And just it feels good to be knowing that we're putting ourselves back out there on the map and that we can really compete with anybody.
Okay, and that's one of the reasons why we wanted to bring the offensive linemen in because sometimes you guys go as the unsung heroes, but you're really doing a lot of the work to make things happen. So we want to wish you all the best in school and on the field, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you, sir.
All right, and next up we're going to bring in this young man here who is part of the anchor in the offensive line, and you are?
Yes, Eder Martinez, right tackle.
Eder Martinez, we've called your name, and I feel very, very good and feel good now I can meet you in person because sitting up there, I've never seen you this close and talk to you, but it's always been on my calendar to bring you guys on so the folks and the viewers can see and appreciate you even more. But talk about the season thus far, and of course tonight's game was very, very one-sided. We knew that might happen, but you still had to play and get the game in. That's what they say. But talk about the season thus far, 5-0.
We started off with the trenches. A lot of hard work during the summer in the heat, putting in the work in weight room. So far, I guess this is the best bonding we had as linemen. We always go out, we protect each other. So I guess it's like a bond that we have. Mm-hmm. Yes.
And of course, not only on the field but off the field, as you said, weight room. That's critical. You have to be in the weight room. But say at classes and when you're going on campus and how you guys hang out together.
Oh yes, we help each other like with our homework. If we need anything, we communicate. We have a group chat, so we ask each other like, you need help, like, okay, help me with this, or like, how do you do this? And like sometimes we make our study group, stuff like that.
And talk about, let's get into the nitty gritty here about the schemes that your coaches have put in here on the offensive line. To the regular eye, they may not catch it, but we've been able to see different types of stances, different schemes, different angles, pulling, all those good things that go into a good line. Talk about how you guys have learned those.
We started off because we're mostly in one stance, so we're in heavy stance, so we try like make the defensive line predict if it's a pass or run, even though it might be the opposite. It's really hard because having all that weight in your hand,
And you've had 3 quarterbacks now. Kind of get to align yourselves in different formations and get to know what style of play they want.
Yes. So we have one quarterback, Boomer, with his cadence. He's been working on it because it's like very slow on, and like it messes up our timing. Yes. But overall, our other quarterbacks are good.
But you pave the way, as they say, for the running backs to find the gaps and the seams.
Oh yeah. So double teaming, going to backer, ripping. It's very hard for us because like we get tired too, running, blocking, and like we just do our best, keep fighting.
Okay. The Bulldog spirit.
Yes.
Right. Okay. And in the academics that you're pursuing.
All right. So we're doing good. I'm doing good in general too.
Okay.
So I'm taking AP. So like I'm very proud of myself. I'm trying to like get a major in psychology.
All right.
Yes.
Eder Martinez. Wishing you luck and success.
Thank you.
Okay. Mucho gusto. Okay. And the last but not least, of course, 52. I believe I can know who you are. Is Jesse Cortez?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Jesse, how are you?
Good, sir. And yourself?
Good, good. Glad to be able to bring you on because I've told your colleagues here, your teammates, we want to highlight everybody on the team. So we've gone, as you noticed, the defense, we've gone some offense, and now we want to bring the offensive line in. So talk about the pride you're feeling now, being undefeated, the feeling it's generated among the team.
It's just a great feeling, because last year, as you can see, we struggled early in the season. And to start off this strong, tonight we just came together, and like every other Friday that we had, it's just been a great feeling so far.
And it seems that there's a tradition of preparation. The opponent does not matter who it is, whether it's the Crenshaw or Legacy, or it could be Montebello or Salesian. The opponent doesn't matter. You come in with the same frame of mind, correct?
Yes, sir. No matter who it is, we're going to practice like it's no other. No matter if it's Legacy, Salesian, sure, all those teams that we played, we practice the same. Hey, practice, and then we come to the game day, we put up these type of points.
Okay, and you know that this is an undefeated season.
Yes.
And Bulldogs have not had a start like this in quite some time, correct?
Yes, sir. It's something that we could do for the community, everybody that has gone through Garfield, and be like, man, this team really went 10-0, and maybe we could go even farther, championship.
Okay, but as the coaches tell you, don't look too far down the road, correct? Not even to the Classic. You're looking at one week by week by week.
Yeah, we look at every game by week. That's just right now we're talking about Bow, because we have Bow,
right.
And we're just looking ahead. So it's just we take it game by game.
And one question I'd like to ask, maybe all of you guys, if you can come back in on this one question, because it's got to be a question or a feeling of a job well done, a play well done, but when you look down the field and you see a P.J. Garcia or you see your teammate has gone the distance on some huge gainers, talk about when you come up and you gather yourself and you look down and you see your teammate way down the field. Give me just an emotion about that.
It's just a great feeling because we turn around and we look at each other. We're celebrating with each other instead of our running back because, he's just broke for like a 70-yard touchdown because of us, our blocking, everything that we do for him. We tell him, hey, we're going to lead the way. You just follow us.
Okay, I'm going to just come right down the line, guys, okay? Same question, Martin.
It's very exciting, because it's basically what we did that helped them get there. And we celebrate with each other, knowing that what we did and hard work pays off.
Okay.
It's another feeling in the world like it. Seeing your running back run down the field, scoring touchdowns because of you, another feeling compared to that.
Throw in no penalties as well.
Penalties.
It's a clean play, as they say. Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Nah, well, like honestly, seeing him being a touch, in the goal line, it's just speechless. Seeing him being in the goal line,
yeah.
It's like I don't know, man. There's nothing like it, as you said.
But mission accomplished.
Yeah,
as
mission
they're
accomplished.
saying, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
We feel very proud because we did our job. Like we made our gap for the running back to run, and like we just celebrate with each other, and like then go celebrate with the running back.
Okay.
Yes.
Last question, guys. So everybody just huddle up here. Offensive coaches. We know we usually mention only the head coach, Coach Hernandez, but I know, and also we've coached on the defensive side with Coach Wicks. But the offensive coordinators for you guys, how important and critical are they?
They're very important. I mean, during the week, they're just telling our game plan and break the defense down for us. It's just make it simple for us. Okay, this is what they're gonna run. This is what's gonna happen. And even if they come out of different formation, we really know how to adjust to it just because of them.
Preparation.
Yes.
Without them, we wouldn't. They're basically our eyes. They see what the weaknesses are. They see what we can do. They tell us what we can do and how we can be better. And without them, we wouldn't be where we're at.
Okay.
Like you said, like without our offensive coordinator, he said stuff on Devshin, like we go off what he tells us to do, what his like Cortez said, his their weaknesses, we expose that.
All right.
Well, I mean, throughout the week, they're constantly telling us like what's going to happen, and then during the game, exactly what happens. So that's what prepares us, and that's what causes us to get these type of scores.
They keep pushing us. They motivate us. They keep like inspiring us to do our best because we know we can dominate because the line is the best of the league.
And at the end of the day, it's all execution. A perfect play comes with perfect execution, right? Okay, guys, I'll give you a chance to give me a go Bulldogs or something to break up the huddle here.
Let's go. All in on 3. 1, 2, 3.
All right. There you have it from the O-line. We're hoping that Coach Hernandez is still around because this has been an opportunity for us to have covered the entire, not the entire team, but the offensive and defensive and some other players that we brought in here to kind of meet and greet you, our viewers, on East LA Sports Scene. So we'll be right back in just a moment looking for head coach Lorenzo Hernandez. Take care. Be right back. Okay, here we are, head coach Lorenzo Hernandez. Game 1 of the Eastern League. Well done, job done. Legacy came in, and you knew it was going to be not an easy game, so to speak. No game is easy, but you took them and you just dealt with them directly.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is a new team to the league in which we were opposed to it. They felt that they could compete at this level, so we just had to come out and do what we do, and I think the kids responded well, and they took care of what needed to happen tonight.
Again, now, Coach, a huge scoring margin, and of course the mercy rule had to be invoked. And that was by regulation, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. And again, we in the past we've always had that additional game to choose an opponent of our liking in which we could prepare our kids for the level that we're going to be in the playoffs. And when we have to accept teams like this, it's really discouraging for us as coaches because we're trying to prepare our kids, and it's kind of difficult. But I guess they needed to be placed in the league. It's just sad that it had to be our league.
Okay. Now, moving forward now, Bell next week. Big game.
Yeah, absolutely. Coach Perez over there is a good friend, and I think he's doing some good things. And they got some big, good, nice-looking kids, and they obviously beat Roosevelt late, so they're a talented team, and I think they're getting better as they're moving along. So we got a good test on our hands coming up next week, and we just got to look forward to it and take it on.
And coming off a bye week, Coach, it was time to get a little healthier, get back everybody sound and ready to go for the league opener, and mission accomplished on that because the week off. We think it did good for you.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely correct. We had that opportunity to prepare and clean up a lot of things. Internally, I mean, we could see it, although a lot of people may not. But internally, we had to do a lot of things and just to make some corrections, get some rest, and just get better. And hopefully, this really improves on what we've done and just keep going forward.
And Coach, we had a good opportunity here to see you come with different alignments. Where we saw Bautista tonight and really working on the passing game.
Yeah, and that's what we want to do because theoretically, I think with the offense that we've been running, I think we'll be okay in league. But theoretically, if we have to, and we get chosen to play up in the open, it's going to be very difficult to be one-dimensional, especially when people want to sit there and double cover Hidalgo. It makes that very difficult. So now having, Bruce Gonzalez as an additional threat out there and bringing in a different quarterback like Castillo and Bautista, I think that's going to help us tremendously as we move into where we need to be in the playoffs.
And Coach, as they say now, it's time to really get into the season because every game is a big game. And not to look too far down the road and into the playoffs, but you've always told us it's week to week and practice to practice.
Yeah, absolutely. And we don't look ahead. We focus on that opponent. And this week we got Bell coming up, and our kids just got to improve and get better at the little things. And we hope to have a decent showing out at Bell High School next week.
Okay, and coaches, you know, we talked to the O-line tonight, and we wanted to get them on camera, and so that our folks and viewers can see who these young athletes are, and how they speak and how they conduct themselves in a post-game situation. And we had very good comments from them because they're very, very cohesive. They work as a unit, and they're very, very thankful and glad to hear Garfield.
Yeah, absolutely. And those guys, luckily for us, 3 of those guys are underclassmen and 2 of them are seniors. And we have that fine balance where they just hold each other accountable and they work hard. And, they've done it all year long. And I'm just very happy that they're on our side of the ball.
Last question, Coach. The environment here on campus now, the attitude that comes with the winning program on campus. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, you know what? It's like we tell our kids, you got to model and reflect who we are as coaches and as a program, and they do a tremendous job of that. Thankfully, we've had very minimal discipline issues, and I think that's just the pride of the East Side, and these kids know how to respond, and, they understand who they represent. Many alumni that have come through here, and they've conducted themselves in such a manner where it's just total respect, and that's what we expect from them and nothing less.
Well said, Coach. Thank you. Good luck. All right, that'll do it for this edition of East LA Sports Scene here, as we've covered a huge win here for the Garfield Bulldogs over Legacy, the Tigers out of Southgate, and the Garfield Bulldogs go 1-0 in the Eastern League. So they have more games ahead, and we will be glad to be covering them down the road here on East LA Sports Scene's High School Game of the Week. On behalf of our crew, thanks for watching this edition of East LA Sports Scene, and we will be coming back to you very soon. So be good, stay safe, take care, and we will see you soon.